So the ultimate goal of your movie would be to get people to understand or connect with the concept of the singularity at a much more fundamental, much deeper level, more emotional rather than logical, more artistic rather than scientific, if I
Well,
may so,
yes, I wouldn't say rather. I would say,
or together, both.
emotional with the logical. So it's kind of like,
Hmm. The
because
complete.
I would never want to. Again, the reason the singularity and these ideas of extrapolations of exponential growth are appealing to me is because I never want to let my emotions run away with an idea that is not based on some sound scientific fact. It's the reason that I'm not, I'm not religious, but I still crave the notion of the transcendent. I think any human being does. If you've been in love, if you've been inspired, if you've stared at a magnificent vista, um, there's something transcendent about that. When one of the astronauts, I think it was Buzz Aldrin, was in the moon, and he said magnificent desolation. That's a transcendent statement about the feeling that he had. He wasn't saying, oh, I'm speaking to God, but he was speaking in metaphor. He was saying magnificent desolation, and I think that the singularity and I think that the evolutions move towards greater complexity and organization, and the universe exhibiting spontaneous self-organization. And these are transcendent qualities. These are when the result of something is greater than the sum of its parts. I'm interested in the transcendent, but I'm interested in the transcendent through the eyes of science. And so, I think that we need that kind of Carl Sagan-esque aesthetic brought back. And so, I'm honoring the way that people like Carl Sagan interpreted the vastness and the magnificence of the cosmos, and sort of applying that vision to science and exponential growth and this move towards greater complexity and organization. So, think the Carl Sagan vibe.
So how would you know that you have succeeded in your goal? What, do you have any benchmarks? How would you say, okay, I've accomplished what I set out to do with the movie?
Wow. Well, true success would be that this documentary, that I get to finish it, and that that I get to, I mean, look, I'm still in the process of producing it, but already the concept trailer has gotten tremendous buzz.
It's fantastic.
I got the concept trailer was mostly to establish the mood. I wanted to show, I only showed Ray Kurzweil and Aubrey de Grey in it, but really it was about capturing a feeling, capturing the momentum. Like people talk about exponential growth and they show it like it's this graph. It starts at a bunch of baby steps and it kind of takes off. So I wanted to capture an anthem, I create a feeling that showed the momentum of the singularity, and how I see it as this unfolding of creativity and art and technology and the extension of human reach ad infinitum, towards this. Anyway, I get carried away, but the success would be for the finished product to, obviously get some kind of mainstream buzz and go to film festivals and get people even outside the immediate enthusiasts, even beyond those that are immediately excited about the singularity, maybe those that have never even heard the word singularity, to be talking about it. That would be success, right? To go beyond those exclusive groups that are already talking about this stuff and reach a little bit of the mainstream. I mean, that would be success.
Absolutely. So
just the fact that you saw the trailer, that's already exciting,
It is.
You have a wide audience that is interested in these ideas.
So, I know it's very hard to gauge, the future progression of your work probably, but how can you tell our listeners and our viewers roughly some timeline that you think they may be able to actually see the full movie, or how far are you from completion? How far are you from setting up the distribution, etc.? I know, for example, I had an interview with Barry Ptolemy, who recently...
Oh, he's my good friend.
Yeah, he's
a good friend.
He's a fantastic guy, another filmmaker like you. And he's been struggling with the distribution end of things for quite some time. And for people like me who are located in Canada, I know that Transcendent Men has been shown in a bunch of film festivals across the United States, in New York, etc. But I'm dying to watch it here, and I can't. I don't have the chance. So I'm dying for the moment that the movie would go global, and hit the big screens or the DVDs, etc.
Yeah,
So
well, I think you should hear something really soon. I've heard some rumors that they're very close to you being able to see it. I think that I could finish the movie probably in a very few months. It's just that I haven't carved out the time to complete it because I'm also involved in two pending TV projects.
mhm,
One of
yes.
one of them is actually science focused, so it'll be a great platform to talk about some of the ideas that I'll explore in the movie to get
Mhm.
people excited in a mainstream outlet. I'm not ready to formally announce what that is because we're still waiting for it to fully um, get figured out. But maybe give me 12 months, hopefully.
That
Uh,
would be amazing. That would be
but
very
but in the
fast.
meantime, we'll keep the conversation happening. I write a lot for the Huffington Post, and I write a lot for this website called Motherboard. It's about science and technology culture, and I plan to continue building up a conversation towards the film as I go along. I think it's a new way of doing this. It's kind of having the audience be part of the conversation by running a series of articles and profiles and getting the word out, even in anticipation of the film.
I see. Well, I wish you good luck with that. Um,
Thank you.
Let me ask you another question that falls within the religious realm.
Sure.
Turning into gods, some
Yeah.
critics may say sounds very blasphemous.
Oh, you
To
mean
the
like people who are really religious would take offense?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
So let me ask you this: do you have any religious affiliations yourself, past or present? And do you think, or what do you think would be the religious take, potential criticism or embracing of your work once it's completed? How do
Mm.
you foresee that interplay between those very powerful ideas, such as turning into gods, accomplishing immortality, which is traditionally the realm of religious, the world religions, be it
Yeah.
Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, you name it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm Jewish by blood. I grew up in Venezuela, very liberal, not very religious household. So, a little bit of Jewish culture, but not that much religion in my home. Um, Critical thinking and finding your own answers was a key push in my house. And I think I respect people's freedom to believe whatever they want. However, I don't think that we should ever let our religious dogmas get in the way of progress, and particularly scientific progress. So when I see religious groups try to deter stem cell research, I
Mm-hmm.
get really offended. And I think there's way too many examples in history of religion trying to chokehold certain progress. Galileo, all these people,
Copernicus, etc.
yeah. And so I just, I think that religion served a purpose. It was itself a technology, a way to organize people around a common theme and offer people a guide for a living. But in terms of, I see it. I ascribe to Joseph Campbell's view of these stories as mythological metaphors that are meant to give us lessons for how to live, not really meant to be taken literally.
So does that mean you're an atheist?
Um, Pretty much. I mean, I like. I'm going to give you a little tease from Transcendent Man. There's a line when they ask Kurzweil, "Does God exist?" He says, "Well, not yet." I think that it's, or Kurzweil has also said it. When we're nano engineering reality and using biotechnology to reprogram the information processes of our biology away from disease and aging, it'll be intelligent design at last. And
Okay, but those are all.
also think that Joseph Campbell says God is that which exceeds our intellectual capacities. So it's a metaphor for the everything that we don't understand yet. But I think that we're gonna continue to augment our intellectual capacities infinitely. And so, to me, whatever that metaphor represents can totally be reverse engineered and understood eventually. So I think nothing will be beyond our intellectual capacity. Or how about, less and less and less will be beyond our intellectual capacity.
But all of those are, at the very least, very provocative ideas, especially if you come from a religious background. And do you not expect a certain kind of a backlash towards your ideas and your movie from, say, the Christian right or the Orthodox Jewish community, or the Muslim community, the extreme Muslim community, I should say, not the Muslim community? Any extreme sort of Orthodox religious, hardcore, by the book religion?
Perhaps, but I think that the free dissemination of ideas should trump their objections. If they believe in freedom and if they believe that we all have the right to interpret ideas in the way that we choose, I'm not telling them what they need to think. I'm interpreting ideas that capture my imagination. So I'm spreading excitement. That's what I'm spreading. I'm spreading optimism. I'm tired of doom and gloom. There's a wonderful line that I would love to share with you. I'm just going to open this. I don't know if you're familiar with the Imaginary Foundation. They make the most beautiful cosmic designs for their t-shirt line that you've ever seen in your life. And they say that we live in a society in which spurious realities are constructed by the media, by governments, and by big corporations, and by religious groups. We are bombarded with pseudo-realities fabricated by very sophisticated people using very sophisticated mechanisms. Perhaps for many designers, irony is the only possible response to a media space where it's impossible to distinguish reality from manipulation. Yet the Imaginary Foundation is future-focused and always has been. So we're exploring what comes after we push through the darkness. We're already reveling in the beauty on the other side of the looking glass. And believe me, it's wonderful. Living creatively and joyfully requires dismissing gloom, defeatism, and negativism. We acknowledge problems, but we do not allow them to dominate our thinking and our direction. So we prefer to be for rather than against, to create solutions rather than to protest against what exists. There are things worth believing in. There are things worth being passionate about. And so our action must not be a reaction, but a creation. For ideas catch the dewdrops and reflect the cosmos. So let those ideas be noble, let them be poetic, and let them be beautiful.